Welcome to Holocaust Museum Houston. My name is Lori and I'm an educator here at the museum. To celebrate the opening of the exhibit Mandela Struggle for Freedom, we are speaking with organizations from around Houston that are working to protect human rights and serve our community. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Sarah Jane Brewer, education specialist at United Against Human Trafficking. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited to learn more about your organization and the fantastic initiatives UAHT is leading within our community. So first, can you tell us a little bit about United Against Human Trafficking? What is your organization's mission?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, we are United Against Human Trafficking. We are based here in Houston, and our goal is to fight human trafficking by educating the community, raising awareness, and empowering survivors. So, a huge thing that we do is we educate the community about what human trafficking really is. And we also work directly with frontline professionals that have a higher likelihood of encountering victims and survivors to talk about what to look for, using trauma-informed care and the resources that are available here in Houston. We also try to work with communities that are at a higher likelihood of being exploited. So individuals in middle schools, high schools, juvenile detention centers, people experiencing homelessness, substance abuse, people who are day laborers, and talk to them about not only what human trafficking is, but how they can increase their resilience and the resources that are available to them. We also work directly with survivors of trafficking. So we have case management here, and we also have support groups for families of trafficking.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for your great work. So as a Holocaust and human rights institution, obviously human rights and supporting these human rights are very important to the foundation of what we do and of your organization as well. So why is your particular human rights issue important in our community and even throughout the world?
Yeah, absolutely. So the connections between human trafficking and human rights are really powerful. I was actually reading the UN Declaration of Human Rights. Um, And, our basic human rights are a right to have freedom of movement, to have education, healthcare, safety, all of these basic things. And human trafficking really takes away everyone's, or not every, takes away an individual's human rights, like all of them. So every human trafficking situation is different. Sometimes people do have freedom of movement, sometimes they can still go to school. But in a lot of these situations, people are not able to make decisions about their lives. They are not safe physically, emotionally, otherwise. They are not allowed to make decisions about their own life. They, even if they're not physically trapped, they can be psychologically trapped. So human trafficking really violates almost every single one of someone's basic human rights.
Right. And especially today, we're living in the midst of a global pandemic where human rights are even more vulnerable. So, how has the pandemic impacted your work?
Yeah, it's definitely been really significant because a big way that we would teach the community about human trafficking and reach people directly who were potentially being affected, that was very disrupted. It's harder for us to go out into the community to talk to people. Conspiracy theories abound, and individuals who are being trafficked, it's much harder for us to get in touch with them, to find them. Um, yeah, so everything has really been a huge barrier. And there are certain conditions that allow trafficking to thrive. If somebody is vulnerable in terms of they're not having their basic needs met, they need a job, they need a place to stay, a trafficker is willing, ready, and willing to meet all of those basic needs. So if in the pandemic somebody has been evicted, they've lost their job, they're desperate for work, these are the kinds of situations that really allow trafficking to thrive. So COVID has definitely had a huge impact on trafficking in every aspect.
Right. So, how can the community support you? How can people get involved with your organization? How can we help?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the biggest things that we can do to fight human trafficking is to learn as much about it as possible, to spread that word, and to know the human trafficking hotline. So, in the midst of this pandemic, we've been putting out a lot more information about things like red flags, what to look out for, what human trafficking is. So, certainly, community members can see our videos, our webinars, our trainings, learn how to recognize human trafficking, learn about what the true nature of what human trafficking is. And if you see or suspect human trafficking, call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888. That is one of the most direct things that somebody can do. Of course, somebody can always donate or volunteer in a general way. And also, there are certain agencies here in Houston, such as The Landing, Redeemed Ministries, and Elijah Rising, that serve survivors directly. And they may be taking donations for things like furniture, toiletries, clothing, and you can visit their websites to learn more about what specific items you can donate. Um, Also, another big thing about human trafficking is that it's really an interconnected problem from a lot of different systems. So issues like poverty, injustice, racial equality, all of these things can play into human trafficking. So just, in our daily lives, creating equitable spaces, building supportive relationships. Another thing that allows trafficking to thrive is if someone feels lonely or if they feel like they can't be honest with their family or their friends when something really bad is happening to them, then that can keep them trapped in that situation. So people can be that supportive friend, believe someone when they tell you that something bad is happening to them, whether they're being abused or exploited, and look for ways to build community. And that's a practical way that we can fight trafficking in our everyday life.
Great, thank you so much for those wonderful resources, for ideas on how to get involved in our community, ways we can provide support, but also issues that one can keep in mind to support individuals that are facing human trafficking, or even how to defend those rights today to support those individuals. So where can people find more information about your organization?
Absolutely. So we are online at uaht.org. So if you go to our website, you can find a lot of resources, a lot of information about the programs that we do. You can submit a request for any of our programs. We can come and give trainings, talk to people if you're interested in any of our services. We also have been regularly doing webinars online for youth, for the community, for educators, social service providers, healthcare workers. Um, Everybody can learn more about human trafficking and visit our programs. So yeah, uaht.org, and you can follow us on social media. We're usually United Against Human Trafficking. We might be you against HT, but usually United Against Human Trafficking.
Fantastic, thank you. And is there any other information that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Um, I am really looking forward to the Nelson Mandela exhibit. Like I am Jewish, and learning about the Holocaust has been a huge part of learning about human rights and being really passionate about this issue. And the big takeaway from lessons that we learn about the Holocaust is that we can't let this happen again. People don't deserve to be exploited, harmed, killed. We're all equal. We're all human beings. And so I hope that, learning about human rights can motivate people to get more involved in their communities, in supporting each other, in fighting against human trafficking. And We're all in this world together. We should take care of each other.
Yeah, of course, human rights is a collective call to action, right? And anything that we can do to help support this makes a huge difference, not only in our schools, in our communities, but throughout the broader world. So thank you so much for the incredible work United Against Human Trafficking is doing within our community and for taking time to talk to us today.
Yeah,
So if
absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Oh, great, thank you. So if you'd like more information about United Against Human Trafficking, again, please feel free to visit their website at uaht.org or stop by Holocaust Museum Houston on Saturday, September 12th during our Human Rights Expo. Receive free admission to the museum and learn more about United Against Human Trafficking and other human rights organizations in the Houston area. We hope to see you there. So thanks again to Sarah and our viewers for joining us today. Mandela Struggle for Freedom will be on view from September 11th, 2020 through January 3rd, 2021. For more information about Holocaust Museum Houston and upcoming events, please visit us at hmh.org. And again, feel free to follow us on social media as well. You can follow United Against Human Trafficking on Instagram and Twitter at United Against Human Trafficking and Holocaust Museum Houston's Boniak Center at Boniak Center. So again, thanks so much for tuning in and have a great day.